guys, it's Dreamy01 back here with my fall of 2019 designer list. So today I'd like to go over my fragrances that I wore over this fall of 2019. They're not in any particular order, however I just wanted to show you guys what I was wearing. So let's get into it. So we have a few honorable mentions. The first one would be Guerlain's Vetiver. This is a tester right here, so there's no cap. But ultimately this scent, it focuses on vetiver, as its name says. It has a little bit of tobacco and it has bergamot as well. There are a laundry list of other notes, as Guerlain is known for doing that. However, I think it's a sophisticated vetiver scent that is classy and inoffensive, easy day-to-day wear, very well known amongst celebrities. But yeah, no, Guerlain Vetiver is something that I wore during this fall. So another honorable mention is Lipstick On by Martin Margiela. This is essentially I think a good designer take on Fève Délicieuse by Dior, Maison Christian Dior Privé. But this one essentially focuses on iris, tonka bean, vanilla, and quite a few other notes. This is kind of syrupy and sweet because of the tonka bean. However, the iris has that lipsticky note, which makes it a little bit different. I think it's a mix between like the Dior Homme series mixed with essentially the Fève Délicieuse. I really like it. It can be a bit feminine, so you kind of have to really wear it with confidence. However, I think this is a really good fragrance, and I really want to get to wear this a little bit more this upcoming winter. So yeah, another honorable mention, Lipstick On by Martin Margiela. A few final honorable mentions would be the Amen line. Essentially, this is pure malt. I kind of grew out of love with pure malt. It is essentially focuses on malt whiskey, patchouli, caraway, and a few other notes. That caraway note kind of just, I fell out of love with it, and the malty note, I just wasn't feeling it this fall. And I focused more on a few other Thierry Mugler fragrances, or essentially one, but I have another one, Amen Cryptomint. This one's also pretty good. I also just got kind of tired of the patchouli in this one. I just wanted something a little bit more different, and there's another Thierry Mugler, which probably most of you guys know. That one took the top spot for my fall designer list. So yeah, let's get into the list. So let's start off the list with Tom Ford's Noir. There is Tom Ford Noir Extreme for him, or Pour Homme. That one essentially is the same thing as this one, but it adds the note of cardamom. Ultimately, this focuses on kulfi, vanilla, amber, sandalwood, and that's what this one focuses on. But the Noir Extreme, which is the male's version, that one has the extra cardamom, which makes it more masculine. There are no other Noir line fragrances for females, but I guess this one was so good that he wanted to make it for females and just remove that cardamom note. Ultimately, I really like this. I think this is unisex. Carlos from Brooklyn Fragrance Lover also says so. This is an amazing fragrance, absolutely seductive. It's amazing. Longevity is bonkers. Good 10 hours. Projections a good 3-4 feet. This is a really good one. Get your nose on it. Tom Ford Noir Pour Femme. So this is Martin Margiela's By the Fireplace. This is an amazing fragrance. I have a essentially half bottle here. I got a partial pretty cheap. This is an amazing fragrance. It's essentially roasted chestnuts, vanilla, Peru balsam, and quite a few other notes. I think this is amazing. Once you smell it, it's extremely real. The Peru balsam acts as this almost smoky burnt wood accord. Oh, I forgot to mention Skyak wood is the other main note. Absolutely amazing fragrance, almost photorealistic. Longevity, I get around 7-8 hours. Projection for the first 2 hours, and then the sillage is around 2 to 3 feet. But this is the absolute standard of a fragrance. I think you guys should get your nose on this one. This is Aramis's Tobacco Reserve. So this is a new flanker in the Aramis line. They tried to inject some new life into the line. Ultimately, this one focuses on tobacco, tonka bean, clary sage, and oak moss. I think that this one is a very gentlemanly and very more adult-focused scent. I really like this because I kind of carry myself with a little bit more maturity, a little bit more quiet. But yeah, no, I really like this one because you have those greener, harsher notes, the tobacco, the clary sage, and the oak moss. Those mixed together create almost this green, fuzzy, leafy type of accord. And then you have the tonka bean, which adds essentially a background of sweetness. So you can pair those harsher notes and pair that up against a sweet background, which I think adds a great balance to the scent. Ultimately, the sillage is around 2 to 3 feet. Projection is around for maybe the first 2 hours, and then the longevity is around 6 to 8 hours. I really like this one. I think you guys should get your nose on it. They went to discounter stores, so maybe you'll be able to find it for a good price there. But yeah, no, pick up Aramis's Tobacco Reserve. So this is Prada Luna Rossa Black. So I actually didn't think I would like this. I'm not a big fan of the Prada Luna Rossa line, mainly because they focus on lavender. Not a big fan of lavender. But ultimately, this fragrance I think is a great one. Recently, I had a really weird experience where it smelled like, because ultimately the notes, they start off with tonka bean, amber, and heliotrope. Those are the big main notes. The heliotrope adds this kind of green and I guess more herbal nature to it. However, it's tonka bean and amber, and it's absolutely amazing, this one. But what happened was that I was wearing this and it smelled like clean laundered sheets, just as if you'd ironed it, and then you got this sweet tonka bean and heliotrope type of vibe from it. I really enjoyed it, but ultimately I think this is a good one. Projection is around 2 to 3 feet. Longevity is around 8 to 9 hours. I really like this one. It's a good one. And then sillage is again 2 to 3 feet. Sorry, projection was the first 1.5. So we have a tie here between Issey Miyake's Nuit d'Issey Noir Argent and Pulse of the Night. So this one has a lot of hype behind it. Ashton from Gensens has really been hyping this one up. This one focuses on amber, tonka bean, Chiara incense, and nutmeg. I don't really get much of the nutmeg. It focuses on the tonka bean, the amber, and then I think the Chiara incense is a little bit farther in the back. You get that up top, but that one just kind of goes off, and ultimately you just get a tonka bean dominant amber. I'm not a big fan of that. I think there are better ambers. There'll be another amber on this list that I'll recommend that will take this spot. So we also have Nuit d'Issey Noir Argent. This one focuses on myrrh, grapefruit, leather, nutmeg, and quite a few other notes. Ultimately, I really like this one because it's fruity, a little bit dark, a little bit spicy, but it's very silky smooth, very mysterious, very sensual. I really like this one. I think you guys should get your nose on this one. It's pretty cheap on FragranceNet, a little bit more expensive on Fragrance Buy, but ultimately I think this is a really good one. Projection is around for the first 2 hours. Then it stays on skin forever. It's around like 9-10 hours. Even past that, you can smell it on your clothes. This is just this is great. The sillage is a little bit more reined in because I think it's heavier, but like it just sits on your skin a little bit better. But it's around 2 feet max. But this can leave a scent trail. This is really good. So yeah, Nuit d'Issey Noir Argent. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also that alert notification so that you guys can be updated on all my future content. We also have Hugo Boss, the Scent Intense. I actually really like this scent. I don't like the scent, the original one. That one is just lackluster. However, this one I think is actually really amazing. It's Maninka fruit, which is this deep type of fruity smell, vanilla and leather. Ultimately, what you do get is you get a bunch of vanilla. You get that Maninka fruit, which adds a fruity vibe. I think this is trying to compare against the Chanel Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme because it has that sweet but yet a little bit fruity and fresh vibe. I really like this one. A lot of people give it a lot of hate. You can also replace this with Private Accord. I sold that one because the chocolate quarter was nice, but I wasn't too big of a fan of that cocoa type of note. But yeah, no, this one I think is really good. For me, longevity is around 6 to 7 hours, maybe 8. You get your projection for the first 1.5 to 2 hours. And then the sillage, it can project up to 3 feet. This one can be really loud for the first 2 hours essentially. I really like this one. I think you guys should get your nose on it, but it's Hugo Boss, the Scent Intense. So this is YSL's M7 Oud Absolu. This essentially takes place of YSL's M7. I haven't actually smelled that one. I hope to one of these days, but I think this is a great fragrance. The notes are on here. It's mandarin, bois de oud, or oud wood, patchouli, cistus, and myrrh. So ultimately with this one you get myrrh, a kind of leathery note, which may be through the oud, and then you get the orange up top. I think this is very similar to a fragrance that I mentioned in my other top 10 cheapies list. You should check that out. up there in the little info box. But yeah, no, this one has an orange accord at the top, and then you get the oud and the myrrh. This one is very, the woody notes are a little bit more prominent, not as prominent as Boss Bottle Oud, which is another great fragrance that could take this place. But I think this one is very similar to the Nuit d'Ici Noir Argent. I think you could replace both of them. This one is a little bit more woody, and there's more of a sweeter myrrh note rather than a little bit more spicy note in the other one. This is a great one. Longevity on me is around 7-8 hours. Projection is a good 2-3 feet, and sillage is 2-3 feet, and then projection is I'd say the first 1.5-2 hours. This is a good one. I really like this one. You guys should check it out. M7's Oud Absolute. So this is 1 Million Privé by Paco Rabanne. I think this is probably the top tier fragrance in the 1 Million line. I don't like 1 Million Lucky that much. It just doesn't resonate with me. It's just mediocre. It smells good, but nothing revolutionary. This one reminds me of Parfum Sommelier Wajan. I have a decant of that one, but this one, it's a workhorse. I put a big dent into it. It focuses on cinnamon, tonka bean, tobacco, and ultimately some myrrh in the background. This one ultimately smells like kind of artificial, but an artificial apple pie. It's amazing. The cinnamon's there. The tonka bean isn't overly sweet, but rather it's a translucent type of tonka bean. It's kind of like the juice color. It's a translucent type of apple pie. I think this is amazing. It's a workhorse. I wear this so much. Longevity is a good 8-9 hours for me. Projection is the first 2-3 hours. Great. Sillage, probably 3 to 4 feet. This one is an amazing one for the fall. I love it. So this is Thierry Mugler's Pure Havane. This is the one that I was talking about that replaced all my other Thierry Mugler fragrances. This one focuses on honey, tobacco, vanilla, and cacao, and patchouli in the background. This one is amazing. Naxos is its higher-end counterpart. The lower-end counterpart, again, go check out my top 10 cheapies for fall of 2019. It talks about Insurrection 2 Wild. That's a good replacement for this, but I think this one's a good, essentially middle point where you don't spend too much money, but you spend, I think, the right amount of money for what you get. Absolutely divine cherry tobacco accord with the honey. I don't like overtly sweet honeys, but I think this is a good one because it compares it with, or it rests or intermingles with the tobacco note. Amazing fragrance. Projection is a good 2-3 feet. Longevity for me is a good 10-12 hours. And the sillage is around essentially 2-3 feet, but the projection, as I messed up, is around the first 3 hours. Great fragrance. I love this one. You guys should get Thierry Mugler's Pure Havane. So here we have Elie Saab's Noir Ombre number 3. I think this is an amazing fragrance for the price. As Ashton from Genset said, insane fragrance by, this is actually, the perfumer is Maison Francis Kurkdjian, who has his own line. This one is essentially amber and ylang ylang. I really like this amber because it's a little bit fresh because of the ylang ylang. It doesn't smell necessarily yellow floral like, it just smells a little bit more fresh than most other ambers. So I think it's an easy transition for ambers into the fall time to the winter time. An amazing scent. Ultimately, amber is a mix between, I think, olabdanum or labdanum and vanilla. So you get that, essentially that more spicy note mixed with the vanilla. But I think this is a great one. Longevity for me, I think I go anosmic to it, but it stays for around good 8 to 10 hours. Sillage is around 2-3 feet, and then the projection is for the first 3 hours for me. I think this is a great one. You guys should get your... So the final one, we have Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultramalt. You know you had to have this one in the list. So this one focuses on essentially tonka bean, pear, vanilla. It's just a fruity, sweetie concoction. It has some of the notes that the initial Le Male had, but I think this one is a step up. Jeremy Fragrance, everyone's talking about this fragrance. I think it's a really good one. It's a dumb reach, easily wear it, go out to the club, go out with friends, anything you want to do. I think you could easily wear this one. It's harder to find, I think, a little bit more now, but you should pick it up, pretty easy. But yeah, no, for projection, I get the first 3 hours. Sillage, definitely 3 to 4 feet. It's pretty loud, pretty big. And then for longevity, I get around 7-8 hours. I think this is a really good one. But yeah, this is Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultramall. So that wraps up my list of my fall 2019 designers. I hope you guys enjoyed the list. Let me know what you guys wore this past fall. If you have any more topics or ideas that you guys want me to cover, I'd love to do that. But yeah, no, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe on the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.